just when you get things situated, you got to tear them up. That's the nature of the hobby. So I decided I want to have a Tortoise switch machine on this Turnout, because this Turnout goes either to the main line CSX or diverts to the yard. So this is the Turnout where I want to have, and I've tried it with other types of electronics, but I'm going to go for having the Tortoise machine powering two dwarf signals, one on either end of the Turnout, so anyone operating knows which way this key switch is positioned. And I'll have just a simple double pole, double throw switch to make it go straight or diverge, and I'll label it as such on the fascia here. And so I'm just learning as I go here. There's a million videos on how to do Tortoise machines. None of them are really simple to follow in my opinion, but I use a little thicker gauge wire. The instructions show you where to make the bends so it stays in there. This is, I think, 0.039 inch diameter wire. I wanted it a little heavier because these Walthers, this is the Walthers 24 inch, 28 inch curved Turnout. Even when you take the spring out, it has a little bit of spring because there's no joints in the rail. It's just, so you got a little bit of spring action from the metal itself. So I've disconnected the spring from the bottom. I just took needle nose pliers and I pulled it out of its holder there, and I just moved it aside. I don't want to cut it or take it out completely in case but it doesn't interfere. In case I ever wanted to reattach it, you can see it doesn't even touch. So that springiness you see is just from the rails. But I did try doing it with the springs still attached, just because I like having the springs in case I ever wanted to get rid of the motor, but I could always reattach it. What I found is even with a thicker wire, the motor has a heck of a time trying to push it hard enough to get that to overcome the tension of the spring. So I unhooked the spring, and it says to do a 1/4 inch hole, and I did that, but then I ended up having to kind of widen it side to side just so it moves without any obstruction. And to clean up any edges of the hole, I use Homosoap board, which is great because if you oversize your hole, you just take some fragments of shavings of Homosoap board and you wet it with glue and just pack it around, and it hardens like rock, so you don't have a huge gap there where ballast is going to fall in. So there's just enough room for that Tortoise arm to travel. And then underneath the board, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put double-sided tape, because rather than the template never works 100% right in my hands anyway, because they give you can get a template for these and get a pilot hole, and then it supposedly tells you exactly where to put this, but I find you still have to fidget just little increments left, right, forward, back to get it perfect so that it's throwing that Turnout. So what I'll do is I'll put double-sided tape, thin double-sided tape. I've got this 3M, and I'll put a strip on each side, and then I'll put it under the table and I'll move it around until I get it right where it's working perfectly, and then I'll stick it up there, and then I'll screw some screws into the holes to hold it fixed in place. I mean, I could just leave the double-sided tape, but I think with all the movement, it probably wouldn't be good. So that's just a tip. So when you're playing around, you can move it and it'll stick there, and then you can take your hands away, make sure it works, and then drive the screws up while it's still stuck to the bottom of the layout. So let's see how this goes. Since I'm using DCC, I wire 4 rails on every Turnout. Becomes kind of cumbersome, but it's worth it. So all the outside rails, you don't want the inside because the flange will hit it. So we've got, and just make sure I use red stripe for one side and pure white for the other side, so I know which side of the bus wire it connects to. So I got one on the outside rail here, one on the far outside rail, and then just follow the tracks and make sure you got outside rail on this one, outside rail on this one. If you're going on this route, you'd have outside rail on this one, outside rail on this one. So I just solder those to the ends there, pull them down, solder them as discreetly as I can, and I just paint them over so you can't see them. The other trick I use, I'm sure a lot of you do this, well, with Walthers you have to cut the tie plates and the spikes off the first tie, because otherwise you can't get a rail joiner under there, which if you're soldering, I guess that's okay, but I always use rail joiners to make sure that more to align the rails than anything, more than conductivity. And I go from Pico Flex Track, and in this case a Pico Turnout, to the Walthers. They're both code 83, but Pico has got smaller rail. It's the Walthers is a little chunkier. I prefer the Picos, but need that curved turnout. So a trick is I use Pico code 83 connectors, and what you'll have to do to join the two, just do it carefully, is I leave one end as it is, so it goes on the Pico track, and then I widen the other end with either like a dental pick or needle nose pliers, just enough to get it to fit onto the wider rail of the Walthers. You don't want to force it on there because you could end up busting this either one of the turnouts, and that's obviously expensive. So when I'm replacing a turnout, like I did this one, this is the I had a defective turnout, so I had to replace this, and while I was doing it, I'm able to do the Tortoise machine. But to take it out, what I do is I slide needle nose pliers. I slide the rail joiners away from this rail I want to take out, and in this case I had to take the Pico turnout out to get it out of the way, because I can't slide the rail joiners into the Pico turnout. But what I could do is I could slide them into the piece of flex track that it's connected to. So I slid all those rail joiners forward, took the Pico track out, slid these joiners forward, then I was able to replace this long Walthers turnout. So now I'm putting it back in. Walthers to Walthers, I just use I think they're Atlas code 83 rail joiners, because they tend to be bigger and they work well for these. But Pico to Walthers, you do have to modify, and maybe there's an off-the-shelf transition, but I just modified the Pico connectors. While I got things apart, I might as well show you what I can. I stripped the wires up quite a bit so that when you pull them down from underneath, all you really see is the wire, not the insulation, obviously. And then you'll solder that edge right to the edge of the rail as tight in as you can, so you really can't see it. So got all the track in by sliding the rail joiners back. And the nice thing about doing all this before you ballast, well, you don't always have that opportunity. Well, you could do. What I do is I spray paint the track on clean home soap, so there's always a footprint of the track, so I know exactly where it was. If you're ballasting and you have to remove something, usually that footprint will still be there under the ballast, so it's good to have that. Rather than painting the whole baseboard first, I like to have the little footprint, because then I always know where the tracks need to be without remeasuring everything and getting the curves in the right degrees, etc. There's where I'm going to have the panel switch, double bowl, double throw, and I decided I'm going to put LEDs, red and green, to indicate the position of the turnout. And the trick to doing that is if you take these pop rivets, just 3/16, drill a hole, put it in there, and I always put, because it's only thin masonite, I take a washer that fits snugly on the back of that pop rivet and push it all the way up against the back of the masonite, and then when I pop that rivet, there'll be a hole through it, and in that is where I'm going to put my LEDs, and I'll wire that to the turnout, to the Tortoise machine, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, I've got things test fitted here. There's probably a more efficient way to wire this if you do things in series, but I am not an electronics expert, so I just know electrical enough to get this thing to work. So I've got it hooked up to the double pole switch, and I'm using these alligator clips just to tie in the panel LEDs, and they'll also hook up to these dwarf signals, which are Tomar dwarf signals, green and red. I've got 2 of these, so there'll be one on each side of the turnout, approaching from either side. You could have a third, so the turnout that it diverges to, but in this case it goes into another turnout, so I don't want to complicate things. This main curved turnout here that goes into the yard, or into the yard this way or onto the main, is just going to have 2 dwarf signals, one on either side. So it's hooked up to this double pull, double throw, so that when I flip it, the motor moves, and then you'll see the panel lights change. And these are the pop rivets, so I put those in there, and then I just drilled through them, and I put LEDs in, and there's a resistor on the back side, and that way if you're the switch will go right in between those two, and you flip up, and that's basically the points of the turnout going away from you, which is diverging into the yard. So you might want it to, I'd like to have them be logical, so if you pull it, the switch up is as if the turnout's going that way. If you push it down, it's coming toward you. You could do it side to side as well, but I just like it this way. So again, the double pull, double throw, it's feeding power to the motor, which are these 2 outsides. And then there's a common feed directly from the DC power into the common, and then you've got open and closed. So basically these 2 control the green or the red panel lights and signals. It's pretty straightforward when you start playing with it. This just makes it look more complicated. You could actually hook these panel lights directly to the motor. So since these are they're sensitive to polarity, the LEDs will only go on if the polarity is in the right direction. So you could actually wire them to the motor in such a way that when it's in one direction, red will go on. When it's in the other direction, green will go on. What I don't like about doing that is it happens immediately as soon as you flip the toggle switch. If you hook them to the signal circuit, there's a bit of a delay, so the lights don't change until the turnout is actually reset. Whoops. I meant to do this toggle switch. So you see there's a bit of a delay in the panel lights, which I like, and the signals will follow that same delay. All right, it's all hooked up. Needs to be cleaned up. But you flip out the switch, and you're now diverging into the yard. Flip it down. You're aligned for the main. Diverged, main. Diverged, main. And you'll see the dwarf signals change. Over there and over here. So not a super easy project because it's the first time I've done one of these, and gotta clean up the wires, obviously. I'm sure a lot of you can do a more eloquent job wiring, but once I get it all zip tied and cleaned, it'll look better. But it works. Happy with it. Cheers.